We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Welcome back to Finals Day here at UKU Nationals 2021 post-pandemic coverage of Ultimate live in Nottingham. I'm Hannah Pendlebury, joined on the stream for the women's final by Ali Thomas. How are you feeling, Ali?
Pretty cold actually, but also very excited for this final.
Well, the wind has picked up and there is a chill in the air. I think it's the frisson of excitement for the women's final matchup between Bristol in black versus Iceni in white, the ice box. We have our ULTI.TV crew here, including, I'm pleased to say, Mr. Tom Stiles being our statsman. And those of you who remember the coverage from 2018, the last time Bristol won the women's division, we actually matched coats at that particular one, so Tom's in a fetching blue to match my good self. And it's nice to have the whole crew back, ULTI.TV bringing you this coverage for free on YouTube. If you are watching, please do get yourself in the comments. So in the lead up to this game, we have some results, but we will talk about that between this first point of the game. So Iceni coming out on offense in the white, and defense on the white. Carla Link throwing a volley wedge, immediately getting us underway, finding her teammate in the end zone, doesn't even celebrate the score, just casually tosses it into the grass.
That is some next level calls. Just, yeah, drop the disc, walk away, no big deal.
No big.
That's what I'd do.
So, out the blocks straight away, Bristol making no errors, a clean offensive hold.
So the last time Bristol and Iceni faced each other in Nottingham was in 2019 in the semis. And Iceni came out on top, but of course both squads quite changed since then, and pandemic playing its usual tricks on everyone, so who knows today?
Well, it's all to play for. Bristol certainly have been in top form this tournament. I think they've yet to drop a game so far. They topped their pool yesterday and we saw them on the stream this morning. It was a bit of a weird one, a close dogfight between them and Sick. Although there was a big collision between Alice Beeching and I think the number 28 of Nat Oldfield. So hopefully they will be able to shake that off like Taylor Swift and put some swift disc movement in play. So Iceni having had a bit of a more difficult time, I think, coming through. They did. They too haven't had any losses, but I think their score lines were a bit closer in their pool matchups. They did defeat London Masters Ultimate coming into this game. It was a bit of a runs and spurts sort of game, not like a close score and score. So getting us underway, far sideline, squeezing it through to Hayley Dahlman. Centering to Brew, one of the captains, to Pope. Has space available, finds Jin. Not much movement from the stack. Jin trying to signal something. Pope going up the line. Jin already deciding to go for Brew. Again, a little bit static from the Iceni side, but Ellis coming through the middle. Just playing small ball conservative, but Brew's going to open up the arm and finds Taylor for the goal. And we are in play, Ali. One punch each, clean holds both.
Though Bristol putting a bit more pressure on Iceni. Iceni struggling, well not struggling obviously, but taking a bit longer to put the goal in.
As long as you get there, it doesn't matter. No one's counting the passes apart from Tom. So, do you think you'd put, at this stage, put your nose out there, Ali, you're going to say which team you think might take this one home?
Give me another 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
I'll get back to you on that one.
I'll set my stopwatch.
Okay.
We've got plenty of support on the stream already. Hong Kong alive they're on board. Let us know where you're watching from. Ali will give you a shout. Oh, and Tom Stiles has put his Akubra hat on. It is business time. So ice boxes, D-line coming out again. Lodge is going to get it underway. Nice centering pass to start us off. Trying to isolate Wedge. But the handler set running a dominator. And some cuppy, poachy work from Iceni to try and slow them down, playing some team defense. Oh, and Carla Link's going to loz it deep. Has Wedge underneath it, and it just goes over the pack and finds the hands of Eleanor Innes. Lovely deep shot from Link there, just managing to get over the pack and find the little pocket at the far end of the end zone.
So Ennis is actually new to Bristol this season. She's only been playing with them for 3 months and just getting free. She also plays touch rugby for England, so that might well explain her footwork and ability to get into spaces. That's incredible. I didn't know touch rugby had a GB squad.
It does indeed. I think, if my memory serves, she might then have met one of my best friends growing up. Personal factoid coming in. A girl called Katie Sage. I think she also plays for the touch rugby GB team. But yeah, there's GB teams and everything. There's Quidditch. There was a British tournament, British Summertime. And they had the GB, some of the GB Quidditch squad came and played a show game because it was a Harry Potter themed tournament that year. Of course, that's obviously what we get compared to oftentimes is Quidditch, but there's a lot of strong crossover sports that are ideal for ultimate player, it seems, which I'd say are field hockey and netball. But
Basketball.
Oh, and also that, yeah. There's so many sports that women can play and definitely should. Oh, just a bit of a miscue there. Trying to find Kilsby. Oh, and Hannah Brew coming in and getting a pretty casual block, and Wilkinson caught sleeping. So the captain of Iceni getting the disc back for her team. As Taylor coming in, doesn't like it. Pope charging up the sideline. Almost surprised by that release from Brew. Oh, Charlie Ellis trying to make something magical into the end zone, but it's going to be another handler burst up the line, and Kat Pope celebrates the score for Iceni. That's a hold.
So 1 turn each for both teams now. Even in the score, even on the stats.
Indeed, we are remaining on serve, coming to you live all weekend. If you want to support this stream, free to all watchers, regardless of where you're watching us from, although do let us know if you're watching from around the world. We'll be checking in on that soon. But if you want to support Ultimate Broadcasting from ULTI.TV, then get yourself over to patreon.com and sign yourself up as a patron. Ali, are you considering becoming a patron, or are you already a patron?
I am already a patron. I signed up just before this weekend in the hopes that it would get me a cushy commentating spot, and it has. So.
Oh no, that's not why, Ali. We heard about your grassroots work. This is what we need. We need more coverage, more opportunities to get people. How is it you described your previous commentating experience, Ali?
Me with a phone and a battery pack in a field.
So that's what you're doing. That's where your money, your pennies are going to when you support us on Patreon, is getting people from battery packs on a field somewhere to a proper broadcast that you can watch in high quality on YouTube. So Bristol now, again, Iceni with that slightly poachy look, but a costly error from Oldfield, but great to see her back on the pitch after her collision in the semi. So an opportunity here for Iceni. Katie Flight getting us underway. One of the pilots of this Iceni team. Big handler coming out of Glasgow women. You see her looking for the launch. Bit of a low one, but scooped up well by Catherine Elsby. Or Kelsby as she's known. Going fully around, but a great job on the mark. Oh, and just tips out the hands of Meave. But a bit too much contact from Wedge, completely uncontested. Calls her own foul. And Iceni will retain possession. Has Thompson going up under double coverage, but snags it out of the air. Just shy of the goal. Oh, what a saucy inside put! And the lobster connection is real.
Flight celebrating with her team. That is a big break. Upwind too.
Absolutely, you could see how much defensive pressure Bristol were putting on. And obviously, you know, fair play from and spirited play from Molly Wedge, calling the foul immediately after getting a bit too much of the back of me, but
very nice to see. Katie Flight putting herself straight back on the pitch.
Well, she's got a lot of energy.
She does.
Did you ever watch her play with Glasgow Women?
No, I did play against her when we were in the under-24 training squad, and I remember she would not stop running, ever.
She's sort of one of those players that I think she can really put. I mean, not that you need to with Iceni, because you've got such a deep squad. But she just is able to put a team on her back and really go to work and do sort of every role. And the nice thing about being in an elite team when that happens is that you can just merge that so well. And yeah, put the team on the back when you need to and have those moments of brilliance. But yeah, straight on the pitch and with the pull.
A lovely ball.
Double duty and running it down pretty well. Look at those powerful thighs go to get into the cup. Oh, and a huge pressure running through for the D. Nice give and go from Lodge and Lewis. Oh, and what a block! Katie Flight, nice little shake of the finger. Bit of sass.
Not today, she says.
Absolutely. Well, it's definitely Sunday seems to be Katie Flight's day. We will shut up about her for a little bit. Groinia of the Irish women's team. Oh, and Karen Kwok puts a saucy biscuit, but she overthrows Amelia Kenneth. Now, that is not something you see every day.
It is not. As Joe Lewis walks to the disc, I'll say thank you to Diane Cameron for watching from Canada. Appreciate the dedication.
Yeah, good to have you with us.
Who are you rooting for, Diane? Let us know.
Oh, absolutely. Got lots of chat from Bristol. More chat from Iceni fans. Are you watching? So Bristol with all of the stretch to go after that miscue from Iceni. Hocking with lots of fakes. Looks like a FSU, but clustered almost. Maybe they took a leaf out of Six playbook in terms of the semi-final. It was all about handler pressure during that game. Lewis, oh, and Amelia Kenneth with the sneaking round the far shoulder smackdown. Great defense.
Bristol looking really good up until that point, but the wind is stronger than it would look.
Oh, absolutely. Right to left on the screen, so behind Iceni at present. Flight going up the line. It's going to be a little bit too far, though. Bit of a forced option. Perhaps a tiny bit of tiredness sneaking in there. Hocking has Chang available. It's going to go for an inside to Wilkinson. Very nice. Almost didn't realise that was coming. Chang to Hocking. Has space available in the end zone, chooses not to. Looking for more conservative options, perhaps. Kantorowicz doesn't have the full count on the bounce. Oh, and sneaks it past Hocking with the goal, and that is a needed hold for Bristol.
So we're trading upwind now. Just always puts that tiny bit of extra pressure on.
It certainly does. So Iceni up one break after that all-important defensive pressure. That's smart, clustering the handler space, making it really difficult to squeeze those out. Taking advantage of that the changeable wind, I think, is probably one of the things I'd say, is how it's so gusty. You know, it's not a consistent wind. It's not your just, you know, constant friend. It comes and it goes. It catches you unawares.
I think Bristol are doing really well to get those insides out against Iceni, who I think historically have had quite a flat mark to stop those insides. So really cool to see them getting them out like nobody's business.
So looking to the wider implications of this game, obviously it's all about getting yourself some shiny, shiny goals, get some medals on the go, but this is obviously World Qualification year as well. So this tournament will determine, I think we've got enough bids that both teams will be advancing and going to World Clubs if they choose to accept their spot. But obviously this will be ideal for what placing you come into the tournament, what seed you're starting at. Pope finds Taylor, coming down from the north to join this London-based team.
One of a number of Scottish gals coming down.
Yes, indeed. But such an absolute athlete. So fast. Nice inside Kilsby. Has some tentative cuts upfield. Oh, and Pope's going to absolutely sling it out of bounds, trying to hit Charlie Ellis with a rather adventurous inside flick, but it just comes out as a pure roll curve. So this is it. This is Bristol's opportunity after layering on the pressure. Just managing to get inside, perhaps a bit of a mental game there. This is their opportunity to get a break back and put themselves back on the lead out in front. That's available. Shrieking up goes Durban. Massive force from Hannah Brew. It's a big hammer, and Molly Wedge goes up with one hand. Can't quite bring it down.
Alice Beeching, normally the one to reel in those stall 9 desperate shots, but she is not on the pitch.
Indeed, took a bit of an arm injury by the looks of it, and it's going to be another fading flick into the wind. Taylor putting her body on the line, but not managing to grasp it and reel it in.
So we've got some supporters far afield in Canada for Bristol. Got an international support gang going, also Cardiff Uni.
And of course, a Canadian connection on both sides of the field. Got Molly Wedge coming in from Canada. I think it was Halifax, if I recall correctly. And of course, Becky Thompson, the number 16 for Iceni. Our Commonwealth friends, Ali. Link, far sideline. Hand gesturing, lots of clustering. Finds some expansive space to Wedge.
It's a very high release backhand.
Oh. Brew trying to get a hand in the mixer there, but pick's going to be called because Durban is, as Benji Reeves would say, suspiciously open as he stands next to me and enjoys some nice chips.
Although with these teams, sometimes they are suspiciously free through their own athleticism.
That's true. All it takes is a moment of hesitation or looking at the disc for but a millisecond. Oh, nice call for the button hook around. Link does have options upfield. She's a little bit hesitant. Great work from Iceni, pushing us back as we see a nice through. Low one, well kept by Durban. Pop to Link. Kantorowicz now far side. Finds Wedge, but it's going to be left. Didn't think it was for her. No arms out reaching, and Taylor's going to smack it to the ground.
Shout out to Ruth Flight. Glasgow is watching. And gosh, more supporters from Bristol from West Virginia. How have they got this massive international support? It's amazing.
Mate, it's a big deal.
True.
Women's final of UK Nationals. Best be believed. If you weren't watching it, where were you? If you're watching this back later, enjoy. It's going to be a great game, I know. I can feel it in my waters. Ellis dishing into Jin. has Kilsby. Ellis available in the deep space. Oh, she is absolute yards free. Can Wedge make it up? She's just going to be there to... Oh, my goodness. Just enough pressure. But Ellis is going to call a foul. Of course, I think the Canadians do play under the USAU rule set where in... Obviously, the attempt to make a play on the disc, a bit more contact is allowed. But obviously in the UK, we are WFDF rule set full through and through. Looking at the replay there, Ali, what do you think?
It looked light, the contact, but I'm not sure if there was maybe some more kind of lower body stuff going on. Either way, it looks like they couldn't come to a decision either.
Well, all good. Coming back to the last uncontested piece of play. It's a great athleticism, though, from Molly Wedge to just open up the throttle and chomp the space between her and Ellis. And Ellis is not a slow person.
Oh, yes.
She occasionally turns up to our training sessions down in Southampton to see her bow. And I've had the pleasure, but also the knackering pleasure of having to mark Ellis occasionally. Brew with a power position, but no deep cuts available. Nice high release to Jin. Great coverage from the downfield defense, just smothering all the opportunities. Looking hungry for blocks. Taylor now coming across, nice high grab, just making sure. Back to Brew. Both defenses able to force their opponents into the occasional negative yards. Now Taylor just about makes it good. A little toe drag.
Some kind of call?
I think they are calling her out of bounds, but we'll have another look at it. Ooh.
That's close, isn't it?
Well, we've not got the ideal angle from our side of things, because obviously for us it looks more liney than perhaps it was, but there was no real sideline close. I know, I take it back. There is a sideline. It's just hidden behind the screen to my right. Of course, all the players thankfully respecting the lovely 3-meter marking line, so no one getting in the way of this stream. We can bring you glistening coverage no matter what. Brew with a low release to Taylor. That connection being very familiar in this point. Both those players going to work furiously. Excellent switching from Bristol to smother the up line. Jin now puts it high to Kilsby. Has Taylor available, but there is a lot of traffic under that. Massive pressure. And Wedge just gets enough of a piece to knock it to the ground.
Bit of a, not quite a hospital pass there, maybe a sort of GP pass, to coin a phrase.
So we've got some more international shout-outs on the stream. We've got some Malaysian love. Lego Bristol from Malaysia and some Lithuanian.
Amir is not in Lithuania, don't listen to him.
But that's an amazing grab and a big launch from Bristol as we gave our international love. Link opens up the arm. It's going to be close for Wedge. Can she make it? No, she can't. Just a little bit too much excitement and disappointment for Bristol.
There's been a lot of that in this end zone. As I said, the wind is deceptive.
It's very deceptive. I don't know why I just said that in a slight South African accent. Oh, it's okay. No, that's just nerd things. There's a YouTube video involving a beached whale. He says, I've got some chips. And he says, do you have any plankton? I only eat plankton. I'm not going to try and do.
I don't know what you're talking about, Annie.
Never mind. I'm just chatting idiocy. It's because we've been playing and commentating. My brain's a bit tired.
Yeah.
Charlie Ellis in the middle of the field. No force, no options, and so that's it. Brew doesn't choose Taylor. Has Kilsby though. Marked by Wedge, who I haven't seen take off her trackies yet. Perhaps used to slightly warmer climes.
I mean, if she does, that's when you know it's serious.
It's business time. Oh, big one going up. Wedge has got eyes on it. She's going to snaffle it, take it away. Good field position. Has Durban under. Her favourite teammate. Oh, big pressure from Hannah Brew, but cannot deny Link, who's going to open up a massive backhand. Saskia Kantorovic. Can she make it? No, she can't. It's only grass, it's not beach, there's not much of a launch.
I think once we start getting these downwind hucks from both teams, just reeling them in slightly, taking that extra second, I think we will see a lot more scores in this end zone. Interesting that the upwind end zone is the one that's seeing more scores.
Well, I suppose it's the idea of a lot of these people have got absolute cannons.
Yes.
You know? And so maybe they just need that little gentle touch of wind to temper. Whereas obviously on the downwind side, you've got the wind pushing it not only further but also down. So, you know, it's going to loft a lot less. It's going to have fewer opportunities to run under. But that's a very smart timeout call.
Yeah.
Because this has turned into a bit of a marathon point. More shout outs on the stream though. I'm going to nick this one because Tom Fraser, nice to have you aboard, my friend. Shout out to Nasty Women's Ultimate in New Zealand, makers of excellent playlists.
There's a bit of discussion going on between Carla Link and Hannah Brew. I guess ascertaining the stall count, maybe?
Probably.
Had she tried to start stalling, perhaps?
Yeah, probably just a little chat about was it stalling one? Because obviously if it's nil stall, they can put whoever they'd like
Exactly.
on.
Katie Flight doing a little dance, trying to keep herself warm perhaps after that long point.
Also, we're catching some shade from other watchers in New Zealand. That's fine. We love all of our Kiwi friends. Let us know you're there. So hi to Dave S. also. Just you know, using the stream to say hello to my friends. You know, you guys are so far away. We haven't been able to travel. It's been a 2 years, hasn't it, Ali?
It has been a 2 years. That is a very good way of putting it.
But also some love from Chicago. But love from all around the world, and we're going to bring you some love from our sponsors. Stay tuned.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch,
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
and
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
So as we come back from that lovely little reel of glorious ultimate highlights, telling you about the work that we're doing, if you want to be officially a sponsor, i.e. we have to mention you in every single broadcast we do, we have to add you to the little highlighty reely thingy, then you can get yourself to Patreon. And if you become a bougie high-level sponsor, if you have cash to splash on supporting Ultimate broadcasts that will come to you free from anywhere we can get to, any Ultimate that's happening, more or less. I mean, obviously we're not going, you know, if it's just two people in a field throwing a frisbee between each other, we probably won't cover that unless it's people in chicken suits. Which,
yes, please.
If you watch the opening ceremony to the European Championships in 2019, there were people in the mascot suits trying to throw a frisbee. It was excellent.
That sounds glorious.
It was very good. But yeah, so if you want to get yourself to patreon.com, what should they do there, Ali?
They should splash their cash on a patronage of ULTI.TV. Whatever level you like.
We're going very Renaissance. You know, become a patron of broadcasting arts.
Please patronise us.
In both ways. But a small round of applause here in front of us as Beeching returns to the field with a rather fetching sling. Hopefully she can act as an off-field talisman to G up her teammates, getting lots of cuddles.
So her and her friend Bailey Melvin Teng now both have arms in slings.
They're matching. It's the same arm as well. It's the new fashion thing. Everyone will be doing it soon. But obviously devastating to not have Bailey Melvin Teng as well.
Mm-hmm.
But also I've been informed told. I've been told by Mike Palmer, Mr. ULTI.TV, or one thereof. I think we're all a big part of the family. But part of his family has expanded. So a previous player for Bristol Women, Kaz Palmer, has just had her first baby. So congratulations.
Oh my gosh.
I sent a very, very adorable photo. So hello to you guys. I'm sure Kaz will be itching to get back on the field.
Definitely. With her bristling.
With her bristling, yes. Or no, Yeah, because it's not. We can't do Brislet. Brisling is brilliant.
Brislet isn't bad, but it does sound a bit like a food. Anyway.
So Kilsby with a nice trotting catch to get her steps. Great coverage from Link to Brew. The little arms out, just like, what am I going to do? I'm being so smothered, and it causes a turn. Frustration of Iceni, and this is Bristol's opportunity to get that break back. They had a hold. Can they just get another punch straight in? It's a high release from Link to Wedge, and it's going to work! A trailing edge grab. Easy does it. Nice stuff from Bristol, and we are back on serve.
Lovely floaty high release from Link there. Just sat right out in front. Cannot wait to watch the replay for this.
Oh yeah. Wedge has got pretty big arms, got a big frame, but she had to use every single inch without the lay. So there's the turn.
Link picks up and pops it over Brew's shoulder.
Oh, it was too fast for us to get the full stack. But believe you me, it was saucy. So shout out to Seamus Murray. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I always don't quite back myself with the Irish names, but having now become a greatest member, thank you very much for joining us, supporting us, making ultimate coverage happen. No longer do we have to go through large corporate companies. I mean, I still have my fancy subscription. They are pretty great, and they have an archive of excellent Ultimate games. But why give them money when you can give ULTI.TV money, or just give both of them money, I suppose, you know, support sports broadcasting.
So we've got a question from the chat. Is ULTI.TV going to be covering AMUC 2021?
You'll have to give us more words. We don't know exactly which tournament that is.
I can tell you there will be coverage of the Great Grandmasters Ultimate Championships.
In Sardinia.
In Sardinia.
Beach.
Love that. There's so many letters in that acronym, I just can't keep track of them all.
It is quite a mouthful, but we are here, obviously, at UKU Nationals 2021. That's a bit more UKUN, I guess. But women's final coverage. We are back on serve, a break each. Iceni taking the first blood, pouring with some smart defense, and we are now seeing exactly the same be put on the other way. Becky Thompson with the redemption on the far sideline, popping into Hannah Brew. She's getting a lot of pitch time. She's rested herself earlier on, although I think she might have forgotten to take her watch off. Hopefully she remembers to take it off soon. I'm saucy about it because it is in the rules. Oh, what a redemption. Ellie Taylor going to ground. Kilsby far sideline. Wilkinson covering the deep space of the zone. Nice movement now. Pressure a little bit coming off. Oh, and just about snatches it past the hand of Ange Wilkinson. Didn't see her fully in stride, but they take the option and sneak it to Taylor.
Bristol playing a very similar kind of poachy, handlery, cuppy thing. Similar to what Iceni were doing, interestingly enough. So perhaps that's why Iceni were able to work it through with relative ease, bar that miscommunication on the first pass. Oh, that's a spicy scuba.
So I should probably briefly say my personal thing at the moment when playing is reminding people, because it's in bold in all of the UKU emails. If you've got wristwear on and you've not got it safely covered by a nice big sweatband, please take it off so you don't backhand huck people in the face with a piece of metal.
Mm-hmm.
Be friends. Protect your opponents and your teammates. Public service announcement over. I'm awful. I'm
Keep
too
each
tired.
other safe.
Keep each other safe, friends. Look after each other. Don't let your friends go home alone after a night out. We are back underway now. We're on serve. Bristol nudging out, just a nose in front. Link finding Durban. Honest matching. Dominator set from Bristol. Now coming through from the deep field. Oh, nice snag. Low catch from Molly Wedge. Calling in her cuts from far, far away. Durban around. Nice swinging, using the full width. Then coming through. Took Bronya for a bit of a run upfield, and now she's back. Pick called. A little bit of a cluster. Kelsby getting dragged past, trying to match Nat Oldfield. Another shout out to another patron. Who else has joined, Ali?
Thank you very much to Joe South for becoming a patron. We appreciate you. We appreciate your support. And also your money. We appreciate that.
But all of it, we'll take all of it.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the tram, we're all on board this train of ultimate coverage. Link scooping away her reset option, chooses Durban, who's going to fling herself for it. Nice delicate work between the handlers. It's really powering, and there we find Molly Wedge sneaking it past, and we get a Bristol break. No, yeah, hold. There we go. It just got
A little kick spike from Molly Wedge there. To anyone listening, if you want to play like Molly Wedge, her fun fact is that she hates vegetables. So if you've ever been told you need to eat your vegetables to grow up big and strong, not true. Just look at Molly Wedge.
Don't believe the hype. It's a bit. Do you remember the eat your carrots because they can help you to see in the dark thing?
Yes. Do you know the origin of that?
Please, pray tell.
It was a rumour spread by British counterintelligence during the Second World War because they had radar. And so the Germans didn't know how their planes get getting shot out of the sky. And so they spread this rumour about British pilots eating carrots.
There you go.
To be fair, I read this on the internet, so I don't know if it's true. Happy to be fact-checked in the comments.
It could be fake news, but disclaimer going there.
That's such a good story.
Oh, absolutely. So we've got some more shouts. Who have we got on the stream, Ali? Well, in the comments, watching us live right now.
I'm going to butcher this name. My apologies. Nasa Mbaye Forger, also from New Zealand. Big New Zealand following.
New York.
Oh, New York, not New Zealand. Can't read.
It's okay.
Thank you for the
We're
corrections.
checking the comments on my teeny tiny phone screen. So you know. And we have played a full tournament now. Our tournament is, actually no, we're not quite over. We've got another game to play after this. If my nerves can handle it.
They better.
Says my teammate. So Thompson centering to Brew to get us straight off. It is all about the isolation for this Iceni team. And sneaking off. Chiang with the heads up play. Going all the way to the end zone straight away, trying to go for the sneaky bookends. Lewis is softly available, but marked out well by Brew. This is a good opportunity for Bristol. Fliss man to Chiang. Oh, beautiful up line available, not quite. Can't quite jump it in. Big fake around, moving Thompson side to side. He's trying desperately. Oh, and it's a cheeky toss, but not going to come off.
Heartbreak. Fantastic heads up D from Chang. So good. So Iceni's O-line will have another shot. It's downwind.
Golden opportunity, ever so slightly wasted. Thompson given lots of space. Big arm's going to come out. Big release. Ellie Taylor under it. Is it going to be a bit too much? It is. That wind just pushing it about half a yard too far for a bid.
Never too good for Huck and D.
I mean, it's definitely not the worst thing you can do on an ultimate field. Make it as challenging as possible. Because I suppose, you know, it's a numbers game, isn't it? Why do we see a lot of top teams putting a lot of hucks up? Because the fewer passes you have to make, the fewer you have to get right. Lodge, one of the stalwart, long-time Bristol handlers. A familiar face. Kantorowicz now looking around. Difficult pressure from the handler marking. Stall out's going to be called. It's a little chat between the mark. I think looks to be Charlie Ellis.
Yeah.
Now that is an exciting athlete matchup.
Certainly.
Although, as we kept saying in the semi-final, the rosters here are so deep for elite teams in the UK. There's so many people to get excited about.
Yeah. Any combination of the players, you're like, oh, let's watch that. So retracted, I'm guessing, since it's staying in the middle of the pitch.
The release valve to Lisa Hocking. Just about managed to let out all that steam.
Good hand signals to communicate.
Absolutely. Hocking finds Wilkinson with a nice break around. Dishing it back. Furious work. Big pick right by the brick mark. Things getting a little bit clustery as we see Iceni getting out the brush and just lashing on the defensive pressure. Big pop up into the centre of the stack. Well read by Ange Wilkinson, who has experience for days, but it's still so fast, but a just miscue there. Hocking throws. I think that was probably due to go to Saskia Kantorowicz, but
yeah,
just not the execution. We're getting another long point here.
Yeah, I was just thinking this is turning into another grinder. Oh, and we've got a massive deep cut from Lucy Barnes, not coming.
So 2 turns apiece. Iceni finding lots of space around in their handler set. Thompson going up line, given it by Wilkinson. Bit of a bump on the mark there. Uncontested foul immediately. Oh, we've got some tram cam in the background.
Love the trams.
We're all about tram cam here. It's also so delightful to say. Wherever you are, if you're somewhere not too public, or if you don't care about what public people think of you, say it with us now. Tram cam.
There was a Cambridge indoor team called Cambridge Hamalytica, Cam for short. Just pleasing sounds, the AMs.
We have an on-field replacement. Kilsby coming in. Dish up to Hannah Brew. Nice put from Thompson. Thinks about opening in the line, but good poaching from Hocking to shut it down. Oh, Molly Wedge, the two Canadians matching up against each other. Big throw to Taylor, well received. Has some options available in the end zone. Doesn't like the look of any of them. Going to have to put it back to Thompson. Doesn't take the easy swing. Chooses to put it into the end zone. Oh, massive attempt, but cannot quite deny. Iceni hold after quite a few turns.
And that is Hayley Dowman, who now has 1 goal and 1 assist. Looks like Ellie Taylor leading the stats with 2 goals.
Well, she's neck and neck with Molly Wedge, the favourite target at the moment for Bristol. But of course, it's still fairly early stages, and they do have both sides have very deep rosters. But thinking about the shape of this first half so far, Ali, that first break for Iceni was clean. They got a block and they put it in. Second break, however, for Bristol to get us back on serve, had 9 turnovers. 9!
That's a lot of turnovers.
So you said I needed to give you 5 more minutes. I've definitely given you more than 5 minutes to get a feel of the shape of this game, Ali. So if you had to say who currently has the edge, where would your money be?
You know, I'm not sure either team has the edge right now, but my gut, or my waters as you would say, is with Bristol. And I don't know if that's just because I like the underdog in terms of the schedule, or just something in the wind, but I would say Bristol. What do your waters say?
I'm not sure you could really call them underdogs. I'd say at the moment, I'm going to agree with you, but simply because I think there are more core pieces of Bristol than there are core pieces of Iceni as the game is currently going. Seems like there are a few extra people that are absolutely just being all over this game, putting their names on it.
That is true.
So Link shepherding her offense under, saying, I'd like some undercuts, please. You're clustering my deep space. Because she wants to just loz it. Up it goes, and a nice grab from Molly Wedge. She's a get out of jail free card, really.
She really
isn't
is, yeah. As a beaching replacement for the stall 9 throws, you could do a lot worse than Molly Wedge.
You definitely could. She's quite a target. It's enjoying seeing some numbers on her back, maybe targets.
So the connection between Carla Link and Molly Wedge. Carla Link with 4 assists, Molly Wedge with 3 goals. So, yeah, a key part of a lot of Bristol scores here.
Yeah, to be fair, looking at our stats, actually, I have to confess, I think even though the cogs, in my view, are more spread out in Bristol, their stats board is a lot more concentrated. You've got Link with 4 assists, Wedge with 3 goals, and then one assist for Kantorowicz to Hocking and Ennis. Whereas current stats leaders for Iceni would be Taylor and Thompson with 2 goals for Taylor and 2 assists for Thompson, which is, that's what you would expect. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's also worth mentioning that Bristol's squad is small and the Iceni squad is quite large and has some players that I'm yet to see on the pitch.
That's not unusual for Iceni, though.
For sure.
They always run a deep team. They're fortunate to obviously have a large pool to draw from when it comes to talent in London. It's with the sinkhole of Ultimate, as those of us not in London sometimes refer to it as.
That's not very nice.
Well, it's true. It's where your hopes of retaining talent maybe go to.
I see.
Certainly, there's a top 4 women's team that was created specifically so there was a London team that wasn't Iceni to play for. So Brew finds a nice big one to Kilsby. Taylor getting another touch. But good downfield coverage from Bristol, smothering those unders. Kilsby see more as a threat in the danger deep, given the under. Back to Brew, loving the matching top knots on those two. Bit of a chat between Ange and Brew. Not sure exactly what the call is. What do you reckon, Ali?
I'm wondering if there was some contact on the mark or some other kind of marking infraction, possibly a travel.
I reckon a marking infraction. There was a hand signal that looked like we're going back to X. Oh, and a big defensive block from Hocking. Uncontested foul. Bit of touchy. Perhaps too muchy.
Feely. Nice.
Kilsby has Ellis available. Doesn't really look like she's committing to that cut. Gin around. Lovely person to play with. Sometimes plays indoors with me occasionally. Has an excellent fluffy jumper that she's been donning this season, but today not wearing it, of course, because it's business time on the pitch. And number 95 finds Kilsby. Taylor working really hard to get free and just about sneaks past Flissman.
So Ellie Taylor now tied with Molly Wedge for leading goal scorers, 3 apiece.
So slightly static offense for Iceni, just swinging it, patient, easy does it. I think it's possible, Ali, and I'm not going to say that I think Iceni are scared, but do you think they're perhaps mindful of how much Bristol want to get a block?
I think you're right, they're not scared, but they're not comfortable. I think. And so much of what Iceni plays against their domestic opponents is comfortable. So, yeah, this is probably the first time this tournament they've really been pushed. So,
well, they came off an interesting game. Their semi-final was against London Masters Ultimate, which I jokingly referred to, I forget exactly who it was. I think it was one of the LMU players. It's old Iceni versus young Iceni.
oh yes.
Because a lot of the London Masters Ultimate, some have been accusing them of being a bit of a, you know, oh, I've picked up this person, but most of them are ex-SIC or ex-Iceni, and so have played together. They're sort of got a good core structure. You never know, if you're not old enough to play Masters, you might not know exactly the history of some of them. But they had a bit of a runs and spurts sort of game. It wasn't like a trading dogfight like Bristol had. So they're pretty warm. They're used to this. They're very ready to have a point-for-point, neck-and-neck, nail-bitey type of game, whereas Iceni perhaps were getting scored on a few times and then having to gee themselves up. But this is some lovely smooth offense from Bristol, gaining yards. But as the shorter field are Iceni going to turn the screws. Has Wedge in the easy reset. Going to sneak up the line, give the space to Joe.
Slightly, no, sorry.
There you go.
Slightly looser, poachier defense from Iceni here.
Is it going to come off though? Kenneth underneath it. Yep. Too much of a risky biscuit for Molly Wedge on the far side. But of course it's coming from Carla Link. Their connection not working out that time.
Nothing's perfect.
No, in the words of Jessie J, nobody's perfect. So Gronya McCarthy, the 2019 European medalist, going to shoot it straight to Kat Rowland, but it's picked off by Joe Lewis. Link available. In fact, speaking of international representation, lots of medalists of various descriptions here. Carla Link, the European gold medalist in the mixed division. And as we mentioned in the semi-final, keen runner. She's been getting really into her running under lockdown. Certainly needed it for the amount of duty she's pulling in this game. Lewis fakes the hammer, dishes it to Link. Thompson just can only look at it. Oh, and that's a big, expansive shot. And what a money throw. Nat Oldfield reeling it in. And that's a beautiful shot for Bristol.
Really, really lovely dump movement from Bristol there. Especially Joe Lewis absolutely breaking Kat Rowland's ankles, getting free. It's so good when you know that your dump can get free and will get free. It takes so much of that pressure off.
So Carla Link adding another to her total, 5 assists. So involved in 5 of 7 scores for Bristol, and we're on the biting edge. If Bristol can get a break here, that would be half with a 2-point cushion, but obviously coming out on defense because they did start out on 0, but putting themselves that notch ahead.
We may have another Galaxy point.
We may be treated to that. It is to be seen. A little bit of support from the sideline there. Coach Paddy, who was actually watching the stream during their first game this morning for Bristol Open, playing in the Open division here.
A lot of the Bristol men out to support as well, it looks like.
Absolutely. And of course they're out in their blue shirts. Different colour palette for the Open team versus the women's team. They're all tense and quiet here as Bristol come out and see if they can snatch away this first half. They won't be creating a huge deficit, but if they can keep applying that pressure. Pope, Kilsby in the isolated space, doesn't like it. Amazing defense from Carla Link squeezing Hannah Bruce to the near sideline. Molly Wedge is on the attack. Can she chase down Ellie Taylor? No, she cannot, but she puts enough pressure on that she gets spooked. Great defense. 3 defenders trying to prevent Ellie Taylor from scoring. That is how much it takes. You have to put an extra 2 humans in the vicinity, and even they can't keep up with her.
Yeah, I think, oh, she's so upset with herself. Covered her hands with her face. Or the other way around, even.
Well, I say this to myself often, if you can touch it, you can catch it. And that is, as we say, we are surprised that Ellie Taylor did not manage it, but...
she actually jumped too high. It bounced off her wrist. She needn't have put that much spring in it.
Bit of Hadouken, punch the disc out of your own hand. So nice early cuts. Chang getting involved immediately, goes deep, has the separation, but there's too much clustering around. Kantorovich coming in for the release. Old field available. Oh, it's just a bit of a dirty throw. So not the ideal, but this is, of course, the defensive point for Bristol. Brew holding the disc in the off-throwing hand. I'm sure she doesn't accidentally fake it out. Nice movement around again. Handler's really going to work. Big old pick on the far side. Hayley Dahlman loses Lyndon Chiang in the mess. So lots of dancing around in this handler space. Nice curve on that cut from Thompson, gaining a few extra yards. Cheeky bounce to Dahlman. Wedge just deciding to poach off. Tasked with shutting down Kilsby. Just straight match defense and big precious Carla Link comes streaming through, but it was too high, way too high for Brew.
I think the wind is now coming slightly across the pitch, making those swings to the far side sit a little bit more, just going over the heads of the intended receivers.
Yeah, a bit too much sauce on that swing pass, but another shot for Bristol. See if they can close up this first half. Oh, it's a big hand block. Great work from Kilsby, seeing it and just making sure it's going to be a toss, a casual toss to Ellie Taylor in the end zone. And we have Galaxy points.
Hell yes. Ellie Taylor with another score. I think the real battle here is between Ellie Taylor and Molly Wedge to see who can score more goals this game. So we will presumably be having 2 power lines out for this Galaxy point to take off.
So much excitement, so much excitement. I don't know if I'm bouncing because it's cold. It's probably just because I'm excited.
And there's also a tram. What more could you want? Galaxy point and a tram.
Tram cam. Hashtag tram cam.
So here's the hand block again. Just enough of a piece on it to slow the momentum and then snapped up by Kilsby. Lovely high release.
Well, we're definitely cooking with gas right now. Is this game just going to go to the toss? Is that going to be it? Is that going to be the only difference maker?
It's a wind farm tradition.
But we're not at the wind farm, and I'm so glad. Got some love on the stream from Ruth Flight. Get in, Ellie Taylor.
Is that Ruth Flight relative of Katie, perhaps? Katie's mum.
Well, she must be very proud of her daughter, who is excellent at Frisbee. Big pressure from Amelia Kenneth. Bit too much of a fight, says Molly.
Be a bit of a discussion and, of course, a reenactment.
You've got to love the reenactment. It's like Amdram.
It's best when they're both holding the disc and won't let go of it.
Let's have another look at that shot.
Oh, she definitely clonked her on the head. Whether or not that affected her ability to catch, I suppose, is up to them to decide.
Well, they'll certainly chat it through for a little while longer. We can see there. So it's quite exciting, actually. So Amelia Kenneth, as I think she got the nickname Rapidash, Felix of ULTI.TV crew and Hive Ultimate fame. Join the Hive. It's cool. No, it's not. It's great. So he made a highlight reel of her when she was on the under-23 squad, just from tour, and it just took off. But
Yep.
Played on the Eurostar squad back in 2019. Oh, uncontested foul. Sorry. Well, I think uncontested foul, but it wasn't in the end zone, so it's not a goal. There we go. Back yourself, Hannah. You do know. So Bristol to take the first half. Oh, it's a hammer to wedge.
Love the overheads. So, will Bristol be able to repeat their victory from the semis in similar fashion over SIC? It's looking like they might.
So that is Bristol on serve, taking half, 8-7. Going to have some huddle time.
Mm-hmm.
So Ali, what do you think of the game thus far?
I think it's cracking, honey. Really enjoying it. I think my one concern would be, though Iceni have the bigger squad and they're playing fewer of their players, how those players which are getting a lot of pitch time are going to fare going into the second half. Because I think Bristol are using more of their fewer legs. So I'll have to wait and see, I suppose. What are your thoughts?
It's an interesting point you make about sort of the energy of it, because it's the argument for if you've not seen a lot of pitch time in the first half and then suddenly you're tasked with coming through when you've not got a cushion. Mm-hmm. It's not like, either team sitting pretty on like, a 4-point mount. We're just like, yeah, okay, we can maybe lose your one here and there. The pressure's on, it's neck and neck. And if you're not sort of in the rhythm of it, you've maybe, got some trackies on the sideline. And it's also I suppose the concept of, whether you're backed by your team or not, if you're not top of the clipboard, there's a mental aspect to it. So I don't know, it might well come to the good of them. But Iceni definitely have a lot of newer players that are perhaps a little bit fresher to this level, maybe. Possible. But we're going to take a quick break while we get some water. Enjoy these messages.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch,
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
So Bristol jogging back to the line. Iceni squatted down, ready to call their line on.
All right, Ali. The game is set. We are on serve. It's all been happening. One break each, one clean one, one phenomenally filthy one with a a timeout and everything. I just went and had a nervous wee. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited about this second half. I cannot wait to see what happens. Is someone going to go on a D-roll? Is it just going to be more of the same trading? Can't wait.
Well, it is hotting up here. The wind is chilly, but the action is very, very hot indeed. As we see Iceni clearing the field on our right, and Bristol still in their huddliness. Some excellent yoga happening on the sideline from excellent colour work from our camera crew here. People enjoying some snacks, rehydrating, stretching their bodies. This is the first full weekend tournament of the entire UK club season since the COVID pandemic sent us all into lockdowns, isolations and vaccinations, which has been a brilliant turnaround to be able to bring you coverage of a full tournament with hand slapping, restrictionless Frisbee. Which is your favourite phase, apart from obviously now, Ali, which is your favourite phase of the UKU's phased return to play?
I mean, I would have to pick one purely on vibes, because I was actually in Italy for most of the season, where I could not play Frisbee, there not being a local team. So I'm going to pick C based on nothing at all.
If you have a favourite phase, please tell us what it was. But it has been very, very interesting. But we're really pleased that obviously we've been able to get to this stage and see these teams firing on all cylinders, as we see a nice visionary put, just a lofty toss pass to Karen Kwok, who started playing Ultimate at King's College London. She's a medic. We're finally seeing the appearance of the number 57, Lucy Barnes. You said didn't see her much early stages in the game, but now getting involved. Jin near side. Has Brew around. Bit static, Taylor trying to get busy. Oh, it's not a big player, but that's a big bump from Durban, taken well by Jin. It's going to put up a bit of a sitter, big pressure on the back of Ellie Taylor. It's going to scooch it in. Oh, and that's a huge block, but can it be redeemed? Oh yes, Lucy Barnes, the veteran, sat at the back of the end zone, says, I'll have that, thank you very much.
So whose assist will that count as on the stats?
Well, I mean, Oldfield definitely didn't throw it. She just macked it. It's just a mack line. But it has to be said, if you can, catch your Ds. Otherwise, things like that do happen, especially in windy games. But it's all good. It is all good.
Just see that again. Brew just dishing it off. Lucy Barnes goes to ground to get it. And then a nice round break. Gosh, that was a lot of contact.
A big old bump, but taken well.
So there we go. Gets a piece of it and sits it out. Nicely for Lucy again.
Yeah, great heads up from Barnes there. Matching up against Kantorovic, who just knew she'd been beat. So there we go. That's as expected. Iceni with the hold. And a clean one too. No turns, no nothing.
But everything hotly contested.
Absolutely. So talking about Bristol's slightly shorter roster, they did, as I said, they lost 3 players in the first, no, 2 players in the first game even. So one of them has returned after the collision, so that's Oldfield. They also lost Roskowska Kinger. That's a low one. It's going to have to be scooped. Oh, and just ground stripped. Molly Wedge takes a little piece out of the ground, which is a very lame golf club reference.
A golf club reference? Lame? No.
Tracks on the side. Kenneth pointing into the deep field space. She's going to have to put it high and big. It's going to sit and hang. Thompson underneath it. Wedge snags it though.
Decisively so.
She's got the extra few inches as Wedge, the dominant Canadian. Going over the top link now with the disc in hand. Wedge available in the centre of the field. Is she going to like the option? Bit clustery, but a nice high release finds it. Deep space being attacked by Oldfield. Coming under. Puts it into the hands of Carla.
It's an offhand backhand there. So casual.
Well, these women have big toolboxes. There's the wedge link connection, but a bit of a stumble bid. Not going to come good. Bit static there. But it has to be said that Bristol have started to look off some of their quite easy reset options. We were giving Iceni a bit of trash earlier on in the game for saying, you know, why are they not just taking the easy passes? Why are they kind of, you know, just sacking them off? Now Bristol may be feeling a little bit of the pressure as we reach the mid stages of this game. So tight play, it cannot be redeemed, but what a huge attempt that was.
From Ling Wu there, putting her body on the line to try and keep it alive.
Great attempt. That's a beautiful replay. Nice to see her taking the field, getting some pitch time. Maeve Crowley there. Putting the force onto Jo Lewis. It's a hammer over the top to Molly Wedge. Hammer time. I feel like they've probably thrown 3 scores now of hammering it to Molly.
If it works, it works.
Indeed. She's still trailing Carla for stats. That's only 5 to Carla's 6. But
it's interesting you said that Molly had a few inches on the other players in that high disc, but her height is only billed as 5'6", which I'm not sure. I feel like she must be a bit taller than that, but who knows?
Fake news.
Fake news.
Trying to lull people into a false sense of security, perhaps.
Oh, she's playing the long game. The double bluffs.
But of course, we're the only people, because of GDPR, we're the only people that see the survey results.
Can't be too careful.
We can't. It's under lock and key. There are strict instructions, which all of our commentating crew have to adhere to, and then it gets blitzed at the end of every tournament, which is why you always have to fill in surveys. So sorry pals, but if once the federations figure out a way for you to complete all of your roster information and all of the fun facts you ever might want us to know, who you've played for, where you've played it, what medals you've won, until the federations create a system to store that, you'd have to do your surveys diligently. So, Iceni out on offence, looking to respond with their own hold. Big fake from Pope. Leaves Jin very poached. But it's all containment right now. Bristol looking to bait a block. Separation available. It's a big one from Pope, but it's going to be a little bit too far to this side.
It's not quite enough sit on it, especially downwind.
Well, it's a difficult throw to execute. Cutter in the same third, close to the sideline. Nice height on it, nice distance on it, just a bit too far to the side, I think. And we, for the first time, have been blockist on the stream by a lovely sun hat. So Lewis finding Lodge completely free and open. Yards and yards. fakes the dish and then takes it. Straight back, nice good goes. Does have the availability of nice snag for a Hocking. Exeter University, I believe. Plays for XL. Played for. Went to the European Championships with her club team pre-pandemic times. Nice punch through from Ange Wilkinson, and that is a break for Bristol.
Oh my word. Drops the disc onto her foot. Little muted spike there.
Are you a fan of a spike, Ali?
It totally depends on the spike. In principle, yes, but sometimes they can be a little aggressive. But in principle, big fan of spiking.
My least favourite is when it ends up tacoing a disc.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Always respect the Frisbee.
But yeah, a cheeky little, you know, throwing the disc away or giving it a gentle nudge with your foot. I think that's all fine and dandy. Maybe one day we'll get to the level of football team coordination of little set pieces after they score goals. And there's that IO from Ange Wilkinson again. And just nice toe in from Lisa Hocking there.
So we've had an update, Ali. Perks of running a pub. We're actually being streamed inside a pub right now. Ultimate is being streamed in a pub instead of Premiership football.
Incredible.
How about that?
Which pub is this? Can we give them a shout out?
Well, it's Nathan Fowler is the landlord, but I don't know where he is. I've forgotten exactly where he's based. So yeah, get yourself to wherever Mr. Fowler lives. We'll see if we can get an update from him.
Yeah, let us know, Nathan.
The ultimate pub.
Ultimate pub.
But Iceni now need this point. Otherwise they might soon see Bristol running away. Nice low release from Thompson. It's interesting to see Taylor always doing that thing that I see a lot of open players do, jumping for every catch just to make sure. Double coverage on Ellie Taylor. Molly Wedge going to snaffle that one up. Too much faith from Hannah Brew. Didn't quite see the lurking defender. Nice around, just going to sail over the fingertips though, backed up by Jin from Iceni. Back to Kwok. Around, can they stretch it across all the way? Thompson curves her cut upfield, nice snag. And launches it straight to Kwok, and that is the hold after the opportunity was missed as the disc sailed over Laurel Piper.
Not squeaky clean, but clean enough. And Becky Thompson high fives her teammates as she walks off the line.
There was a moment early on in the game, which was, I'm sad our colour cameras missed it, but basically, so as people might know, Becky Thompson is a twin.
Yes.
And her sister Helen is playing for Smog this weekend.
Uh-huh.
And I think Helen's had to go and warm up for her game, which will be coming up imminently. But yeah, Becky was able to have a little score celebration when her sister was sidelining her, and they do a cool like a jump, hit, bump, clap kind of manoeuvre.
Oh, that's very cute.
It's very delicate. So I think we're locked in for Smog being on the stream in the final for mixed.
Okay.
So we just had the semis last game. So yeah, watch out for that celebration.
So will that be Deep Space Smog?
You'll have to check the schedule. I can't remember. There you go, Deep Space. Our stats man coming through like a dream. Deep Space Smog 1.
So tune in for that next.
Absolutely. Sadly, we won't be here because we'll be playing Frisbee, but it's going to be a great game. So enjoy the stream. We'll have Benji Rees back in the booth.
Yes, I think we had on the camera earlier both Bailey and Alice with their arms in slings. Hopefully not broken, possibly fractured or sprained.
So Bristol once again on the charge. Chang finds Wilkinson. Ken had a look at it. Dish off to Lewis. Light work of advancing up to the brick mark. Iceni now applying more defensive pressure. Lodge gets looked off. It's going to have to be a big one. Adventurous. Nice work from Chang. Has Lodge at the back of the end zone, far corner. Sorry, near corner even. But nice reset. No, nothing in the way of the dunk, but doesn't need it because Saskia Kantorowicz races through. There's a call potentially. No,
just a bit of a chat, I think. Or is it? It's a chat.
Yeah, I don't think anything's going to come of it. I don't think we're going to see a score retracted, but just a chat. Perhaps one of those famous "you're marking me quite closely, so I'm going to touch you with the Frisbee" moments. Who knows?
Let's give you a gentle nudge.
Gentle nudge. We're all about gentle nudges.
So as we can see on the replay here, little swing to Lewis, who launches it out into space for Kantorowicz to run onto.
Yeah, there wasn't any touchy, feely, was there?
No.
So, Bristol 11, Iceni trailing with 9. Timeout called. So in these circles, what do you say if you're Bristol, Ali?
Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. It is working.
Well, we're going to take a short break, but we will be back. That's the hooter for the time cap. But stay tuned for more very soon.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Welcome back. Women's final in front of us. Bristol in the lead 11-9, having snagged a clean break in point 3 of this second half. I'm Hannah Pendlebury on the call this fine, windy, chilly Nottingham afternoon with Ali Thomas. And it is all getting very real now.
Very close. Everything to play for.
It's it's definitely not over. We saw in the semi-final, well, sadly not on the stream. Our Patreon budget doesn't stretch quite that large just yet. Maybe soon. But LMU and the Iceni players in white had a bit of a runs and spurts game. So that was, a couple for one side, a couple for the other, and they bested them 11-9. So we've just seen heard the hooter go off for time for this game, running 80 minutes long. So we will see if it's going to be game to 12 or game to 13. Jin with the disc, finding Ellis, but it's going to be slapped away from Nat Oldfield, who I'm surprised not to see her catch that D, considering she got not. I can't think of the word. She wasn't exactly rewarded for her Mackline tip earlier, but
that's very true. That is very true. Oh, crumbs.
That's a big old collision. Hustle and bustle between Lucy Barnes and Molly Wedge. That is a saucy matchup indeed.
Uncontested foul.
So disc will remain in the stall it was. We'll get back underway. Wedge sneaks past, expands the space. Oh, and what a beautiful grab. Hooks it down. Has space available. Link coming in, charging up the line, but bouncing around. But Amelia Durbin. Looks a little bit like Lewis from this distance. Doing it better. Oh, sneaking away. Quat coming in underneath, but I think there was already a call.
So a little bit of a discussion on pitch.
Not sure exactly what the call was. I think it was a potential call before the disc went up. Perhaps a pick from the stack. Perhaps even on Oldfield.
Potentially. Nice switching defence from Iceni to shut it down regardless.
Does seem with Durban walking towards the disc that might be coming back. Some hand signals for turnover, some not.
What are your thoughts on that play, Hanny? She's sort of laid out almost under her feet.
Well, at this stage in the game, you really do just have to go for it. It's an interesting position for Kwok to make a layout bid from. I think probably Kwok's putting herself in more danger potentially than Oldfield is.
True.
But I think that was indeed a pick call before the throw. If I had to guess, which I am guessing.
You do have to guess.
So you don't have Mikey P with his roving field microphone to hear the discussions. But if you become a patron, we might one day have the budget for an on-field mic too. Oh, and a visionary put from Molly Wedge and a single-handed snatch grab from Ange Wilkinson.
Trailing edge just yanked out of the air there.
So we have it, Ultimate fans, a game to 13. And that is going to be a mighty hill for Iceni to climb. They're going to have to get the ice picks out of the box.
Big box with assorted ice-related tools in it, presumably.
Absolutely. So, staring up that deficit with your box full of ice picks and other assorted snowshoes.
There's that throw again. Just little jump keeps it in.
Fancy footwork.
That was the assist.
Yeah. So we see Casey Flight being carried off the pitch. She'll be devastated not to be on for this point, probably. If you let her, she'd run wild all day long. And, you know, do some pretty damn good things doing it.
A lot of hugs on the sideline. Iceni supporting each other emotionally.
And literally. Although an interesting point's just been made behind me. So I heard some chatter from the commentary booth sideline, as it were. This would be Bristol winning nationals without Alice Beeching or Bailey Melvin Teng in the final. Just shows the depth. Taylor. Lots of black shirts near to the disc. One person. Amelia Durban playing deep help. Taylor sets off, but nobody's looking. Just casually, calmly swinging it around. Iceni need every single point they can muster. Thompson running up the sideline, working hard. Miscued throw. Can Bristol make anything of it? There's not the timeout. Carla's going to have to track that one down. She has Kantorowicz going deep. Thompson's going to try and cover it, but I think that is going to be goal. Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, genders of all stripes and sizes. That is game, and Bristol take another UK championship to add to their ones before, and that was just bizarre.
What an amazing game. Carla Link falling to her knees in joy after throwing that assist. What a game.
Absolutely, neck and neck until the midsection of the second half. We saw one clean break from Bristol, a response from Iceni, but then it was just 3-point charge, put the booster in, the nitrous oxide in the engine, and they sealed the deal. That was a beautiful game. Bids from both sides. If you had to say player of the match, Ali, who would you give it to?
I think I would have to say Molly Wedge, and I don't think many would disagree. Incredible on D, incredible on O, getting fantastic blocks and just unbeatable in the air.
There was a comment on the stream from Midas Touch 19 earlier which said it all. Molly is the thin end of the wedge for Bristol's victory. What an addition to their roster, but credit to both teams. There were some saucy plays and grabs. Both sides give themselves a pat on the back. Something's just been said in the Bristol circle. I don't know what, but there was an additional excellent scream. So that's it for the women's final, but stay tuned. Mixed action coming for you next. Deep Space versus Smog 1. Who's going to best it? It's the North versus the South. The age-old battle. Stay tuned here. Coverage until the very last. I've been Hannah Pendlebury. Ali Thomas has been joining me on the stream. It's been a delight. But stay tuned for more action coming at you very soon.
ULTI.TV.